I know we have problems. And I was determined to fix them. Don't get it twisted. The Sun is trying to tell you all different stuff. $5 million here, whatever. What they don't tell you is down. Police shootings, discourtesy, excessive force, lawsuits against the city. We're finding more officers that are found accused of wrongdoing guilty. They don't want to tell you that part because they don't want us to be in the victory. We will get justice for Freddie Gray. Believe you me, we will get justice.
I guess she left out the stats on looting and rioting and burning. Those are way up. Joining us now, I'm very privileged to welcome in Mayor Richard Riordan, former mayor of Los Angeles from 1993 to 2001, and he's the author of a great book, The Mayor. Let me start again. There was no in there. The Mayor: How I Turned Around Los Angeles After Riots, an Earthquake, and the O.J. Simpson Murder Trial. There it is on your screen. Mr. Mayor, welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to have you. So, what's your assessment of how this mayor has handled the situation so far, since we heard her say that she was making room for the people who wanted to destroy and make sure they had the room?
Well, I think she's shown no leadership at all, although I must say I think the governor of Maryland should have really gotten together with her, and they should have said nothing bad about each other, just get in and run the city well and get these rioters out of there, because most of them, I don't think, even live in Baltimore.
That's probably very true. I wouldn't be surprised to find that out. Before we get to what you might have done, in addition to what you just said, do you have an opinion on how the prosecutor today in Baltimore presented the charges? Is it possible for her to have read all the evidence that was handed over to her? And do you think she jumped the gun? And do you think she was being too much of an activist in saying to the youth of Baltimore, this is our time?
I think it's an activist and being a weak leader, particularly because our time has got to be when the kids get a good education, when they're held accountable, and they grow up to be the kind of people that people want to hire for jobs, and as a result, they'll be successful.
Well, how did you do that? How did you go about emerging from the chaos of the Rodney King riots and the O.J. Simpson trial and turning things around out in Los Angeles? How did you do it?
Well, I think what I did was get the various people, leaders in the city, the African-American pastors of churches together, the heads of businesses in Los Angeles, civic activists. I formed a committee of 100 where we want to get everybody to mix with each other and to discuss the problems. It doesn't do the black area any good to make blacks look bad, and it doesn't do the whites good to constantly be harassing the blacks. They have to get together, and they have to have common grounds.
What do you attribute the problems of the inner cities to? Certainly on the heels of a riot, no matter what the cause of the riot is, and you had the uniqueness of the O.J. trial, but city after city after city can claim much of the same problems. The section of Baltimore where this occurred, 50% unemployment, 33% poverty, and 33% abandoned buildings. I mean, is this not the result of decades of failed policy?
I think President Reagan was asked about the war on poverty, and he answered by saying, he says, poverty won the war. And I think here, Washington just wasted trillions of money on their war on poverty, did not give people in the inner city the education they needed to be successful, and most of all, did not hold them accountable. And people are not held accountable. They can get through school without good grades, and they can break laws and know they're not going to end up in jail more than a few hours.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, and I urge everyone to get the book, The Mayor: How I Turned Around Los Angeles After Riots, an Earthquake, and the O.J. Simpson Murder Trial, because there's so much information in there which proves that it can be done, and Mayor Richard Riordan has a blueprint in there, and And it's just a great read, sir. And again, congratulations on it. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you'll come back.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Keep doing a great job.
Thank you. My pleasure. Mayor Richard Riordan, the former mayor of the city of Los Angeles. $22 or $23 trillion since the 60s in the war on poverty. Trillion. And you hear President Obama the other day say, oh, Republicans won't fund these programs. Baloney. Baloney. You know it, I know it, and most of all, he knows it. It's meant and designed to keep blacks dependent on government and keep them down. Give Me 5 is next.